Click the bell icon to get latest videos from Ekeeda.
Hello friends, in this video we will study a new topic or new concept called as what? Function. Now basically first we need to understand what is function and why there is a need to use function. The definition of function says a function is a self-contained block of statement that performs a particular task. Now, before going directly jumping onto a definition, first we will see what is function with the help of some example. Now, suppose if I have written a program to perform, to do something in that particular program. Suppose if I want to perform a addition of two numbers, say for a 20 number of times. So it means what? For 20 number of times, at the different places. Suppose if you want to perform an addition of two numbers for 20 number of times, then what you have to do, for 20 times you have to write the code to perform addition of two numbers. Now it means you will be writing a same code over again and again in the same program. So it means what? You will be necessary increasing the length of the program, and writing the same code over again and again means what? You are wasting your time also, and your length of the program will also get increased. So I won't be doing that. Instead of that, what I will do, I will create one module, or I will create one function, and that function will perform addition of two numbers. Now whenever in the program I need to perform addition of two numbers, instead of writing the entire code again, what I will do is I will just make a call to that function. So if you are doing it so, then what will happen? Your time will also get saved, and your length of the program will also get what? Decrease. So it means what? You don't have to do the same thing. You don't have to repeat the same code over again and again. So this is basically a concept of function. What we basically do inside the function, a function is a self-contained block of statement. So function means what? A particular task we can write inside a function, and whenever in the program I need that task, what I do is I just make a call to that function. So instead of writing that task again in your program, you just call that task, and then that task will get automatically executed. So that is basically a use of what? Function. Now there are two types of function. The number one is called as what? Library function, and number two is called as user defined function. Now library functions are the functions which are already there in the dictionary of compiler, or you can say they are already there in the memory of the compiler. And some of the examples of the library functions are what? Square root, which is to calculate the square root of number; power, which is to calculate the power of number; abs, which will give you the absolute value of the number. So these are some of the library function, or you can say these are some of the built-in function. And then what are the user defined functions? User defined functions are those functions which are written by whom? User, or which are created by whom? User. So those those programs comes under the category of what? User defined function. Now in this particular session, we have to first learn how to write a function, then we'll see what are the advantages of function. So before going to advantages of function, first we will see how to write a function, then you will get an idea of what exactly I am talking about a function. So the syntax of writing a function is, first I write a return type. So I will write here return type space, I will write a function name. In the bracket I write list of parameters, open curly bracket, then your code will come, and then close curly bracket. So this is the syntax of what? Function. Now we'll see one small example of how to write a function or how to create a function. Now suppose the example which I was talking about, suppose if I want to perform addition of two numbers, then how to write a program to perform addition of two numbers with the help of function, that we will see. So as we know, we start our program with the header files. So I'll write here hash include iostream.h, then void main, open close bracket. Now suppose if what I'm doing here is I'm performing addition of two numbers. So I need how many variables? Yes, two variables. So they are a, b, to perform the addition of two numbers. Then cout, enter A and B, and then C in, input the both the values A, B, and then add A comma B, and then bracket completed. This is my main function. We'll explain this first. We'll finish the writing part. Now what is the syntax of function? The syntax of function is return type. So as of now I am using void. Then your function name will come and then list of parameters. So now in this case, void is a return type. Now suppose if the function name is what? I have taken what? Add. So I will write here add and then list of parameters. So I am writing here int x comma int y. Int s is to perform the sum. S is equal to x plus y, and then cout sum is equal to s, bracket complete. Now see, this is how I write a program using function. Now if you see here, there are two parts. The one is called as main function. So this is my main function, and this is my sub function. Now what exactly I'm doing inside the main function? In the main function I have declared two variables. They are a, b, and you are telling user to enter the values of a, b, and you are inputting the values of a, b. Now see, this particular statement I have written, I called it as what? Function call. Function call means what? Here I am calling my function. Now this is your function. Now in this function what you are doing is you are calculating what? Addition of a and b. So for this what I did is I first wrote a return type, that is void, then add is my function name, and in the bracket list of parameters. Now what is parameters? Basically whenever variable you pass inside the bracket, you call them as what? Parameters. So if you'll see here my variables are what? A, b, and here add a, b. These are what? My parameters, because I have passed these variables inside the bracket, so I will call them as what? Parameters. So here my parameters are what? A, b, and here I have taken parameters as what? X, y. Now the parameters which are there in the main function, I call them as actual parameter. So here a, b are called as what? Actual parameter, whereas your x, y are called as what? Formal parameter. So I will call them as what? X, y are what? Formal parameters. So how exactly this will get executed? Your value of actual parameter will get copied onto a formal parameter. Now when I executed the main function, what will happen? It will allow you to enter the values of what? A and b. Now suppose if user enters a as a 10 and b as a 20, then this 10 and 20 will get copied onto where? X and y. Because what did I say? The values of actual parameter always gets copied onto where? Formal parameter. So my a, b ka value will get copied onto where? X and y, and your x will become 10 and y will become what? 20. Then I took one more variable s to store the answer. So s is equal to x plus y. So s is equal to what? 10 plus 20. Whatever answer I will get 30, that will get stored inside the variable s, and at the end cout the sum is equal to s, so that 30 will get printed on the screen. And void you have written, so it means what? This value will get automatically returned to whom? Main function, since you are calling this sub function inside what? Main function. So this is how my function gets executed. This is how my program of function gets executed. Your compiler will start execution from the main function, and inside the main function, wherever you will call the function, your compiler will directly jump inside the function's body. Means what? After coming at this step, your compiler will start searching for a function whose name is what? Add. Once your compiler will get a function whose name is add, your compiler will directly jump onto that function's body. And when compiler will jump onto a function's body, what compiler will do? Compiler will copy your actual parameters onto where? Formal parameters, and then it will start proceeding your function. So this is how I make a use of function. Now say this was a small program, but suppose if your program is very large and if you want to perform addition of two numbers, then instead of writing the entire code to write a to perform addition of two numbers, you just have to write what? Add a comma b. So whenever you will write add a comma b, you are writing this statement. It means what? You are calling a function, and when you will call a function, your compiler will directly jump inside the function's body, and that particular part will get executed. So this is how we write a program to use a function. I mean, this is how we write a program by using a function. So I hope you have understood this program. What will happen here? I took two variables a and b, then I inputted the values of a and b, then a and b ka values will get copied onto x and y. When it will get copied onto x and y, when actually you will call the function. So when you will call the function, your compiler will jump inside the function's body and it will copy the values of a and b onto x and y, and then x and y ka value will get proceed, and whatever output you will get, that output will get returned to a main function. Now we'll see what are the advantages of function. Now the first advantage is easy to write correct small functions for small tasks. So just now we saw example. In that example, what we did, we wrote a function to perform addition of two numbers, and that was easy. So next is easy to read, write and debug function. Number 3, maintenance and modification of the function is easier. The length of the source program can be reduced. How the length of the source program can be reduced? Because you won't be writing the same code over again and again. Whenever I need to perform the task, what I will do, I will just make a call to that particular function. And this is very important. Once the function is developed, it may be used by many other programs. Like suppose if I have kept ready a function to perform addition of two numbers, then whenever I need in the future I need to perform addition of two numbers, I won't be writing a program to perform addition of two numbers. Instead, what I will do, I will just make a call to that function and that function will automatically get called. So these are some of the advantages of using a function. Now defining a function, this we have already seen. What we do, type is like your return type, then your function name, then your parameter list. What are parameters? The variables actually when they passed inside the bracket, I call them as what? Parameter. Then in the open and close bracket, I write my code. Now the next topic is function prototype. Now what is function prototype? In C++, all the functions must be declared before they are used in the program. Now for an example, in this program, what I have done is I have used a function called as void add. Now this void add function, before using this function, I need to declare this function before the beginning of the program. So that thing is called as what? Function prototype. So how I will do that? Before this, I will write here void add int x comma int y semicolon, and this statement is called as what? Function prototype. So before defining a function, first you have to declare the function. Now why we declare the function? Because like see, before using the variables also, first we declare the variable. Why we declare the variable? Because we tell the compiler that okay, these are the variables which I will be using with so and so data type. So in the same way, when we declare a function, we tell the compiler about the function. I mean, you tell the compiler about the name of the function, then type of the function, then whatever parameters you will be using inside the function. So all those information are given to the compiler before the beginning of the program, and that statement is called as what? Function prototype. So it is very necessary or it is mandatory to declare the function before they are used, and that declaration of function is called as what? Function prototype. So if you don't declare the function before they are used, then you will get an error of function prototype in a program. So before using a function, first you have to declare that function. So we'll see what they have to say about function prototype. In C++, all the functions must be declared before they are used in a program, and this is achieved by function prototype. The prototype is a declaration that defines the argument passed to the function and type of the value written by the function. Now your arguments are nothing but what? Parameters. Your parameters can also be called as what? Arguments. And the syntax is what? Type, then your function name, and then your list of parameters. Now the next concept is called as local variable and global variable. Now what is local variable and what is global variable? From the name only you can understand. Local variable means what? Which are local to the function, and global variable is something which are declared outside the function. So the local variable are variables which are declared inside the function. The variables which are declared inside the function body, they are called as what? Local variable. So the scope of that local variable is basically limited only within the function, whereas the scope of global variable is limited throughout the function. I mean, the if the variable is declared as a global variable, then any function can use that variable. But if your variable is a local variable, then that variable will be strictly a part of that particular function only. So that is what local variable and global variable. So variable which are declared inside a function in which they are to be utilized are called as what? Local variable. So they are created when function is called and destroyed when function exited. So whenever you create a function, they get called, but whenever your function gets exit, you know that local variable automatically gets destroyed. So that's why sometimes they are called as what? Automatic variable. For an example, void main int I is equal to 20. If you'll see here, I is declared inside the main function. So here I is a local to whom? Main function. So the scope of I is limited only to the main function. Next is what? External variable, or you can call them as what? Global variable. So variables that are active and alive throughout the entire program are called as what? External variable, or you can call them as what? Global variable. This variable can be accessed by any functions in the program. Since they are declared what? Globally, since they are declared what? Externally, any function can access them. Global variable you can access within a function with keyword extern or without extern. So if you want to suppose access a global variable, then you may use a keyword called as extern keyword, or without extern keyword also you can use a global variable. Now see here, int length, if you will see here, main length variable is declared outside the main function, so I will call this length variable as what? Global variable. Now the scope of this length variable is not limited only within the main function. Any other function can also use what? Length variable, because length variable is declared global variable. So this was about what? External variable and local variable. Now next we will see how to write a function without a return type. Now see here, I have written a program to calculate the area of circle. So we'll see the explanation of the program, how exactly they have written a program to calculate the area of circle. The first thing, double area double. So I called it as what? Yes, I called it as prototype. What is prototype? Before using a function, first you need to declare a function at the beginning of the program. So that's what I did here, and I called it as what? Prototype. Now this is my main function, this is what my sub function. Now what exactly you are doing in the main function? You are entering the value of r and a. So r is to calculate the radius, and you are inputting the value of radius, and a variable is to collect what? Answer. So what I have written here, a is equal to area r. Now this particular line is called as function call. Yes, here you are calling a function. So after this, your compiler is going to jump inside where? Function area. So what compiler will do here, it will jump inside the function area, and whatever area ka answer you will get, that answer will get stored inside the variable a. Because see, you have written a is equal to area r. So it means what? The answer of function you are collecting inside the variable a. So it will jump here. Now what is written? R. Now suppose R is a 5. So what will happen here? This R ka value will get copied onto this. Now here actual and formal parameter both are same. So you can take both the parameters are same parameters also. I mean, it is not mandatory or it is not compulsory to take the actual parameter and formal parameters as a different. Like in the previous program what I did, I perform addition of two numbers, and in that program what I did, actual parameters were A, B, and I took the formal parameters as X, Y. And here my actual parameter is R, my formal parameter is R. That is also okay. Your formal and actual parameter both can be either same, or you can take a different name also. But in this case what I have done is my both the parameters are same. So what will happen here, R ka value will get copied onto another R, that is R ka, I mean actual parameter ka value will get copied onto a formal parameter. So suppose if my R is 5, then that 5 will get copied onto here. Now see here I haven't used a void. What I have used here? Double. So if the void is not used, in that case what I do is I return value to the main function. So this we have already discussed. Whenever we don't use void, at that time we return value to the main function with the help of keyword return. So how to do that exactly? I will write here double. Okay, void I haven't written. I have made a use of what? Data type, that is double area and double r. So double A is a variable and my formula is A is equal to 3.14 R into R. Now whatever value you will get, that value will get stored inside A, and since I haven't made a use of void, I am returning that value to the main function, so return A. Now where this value will get collected? Yes, that value will get collected, I mean that value will go back to the main function and that value will get collected inside the variable A, and then you are printing the value of A. So this is how I write a program without using what void. So whenever I don't use void, in that case what I have to do is I have to return the value to the main function with the help of keyword return. Now see, let me tell you one thing. This category, I mean this type of functions are called as what? Call by value. There are two types of functions. The number one is called as call by value and number two is called as call by reference. I won't talk about call by reference right now. Call by reference we will see, actually first we will see some basic concepts of the pointer and then we will talk about the call by reference. As of now we'll just concentrate on to what? Call by value. What we do exactly in the call by value? In the call by value, the value of actual parameter gets copied onto where? Formal parameter. That is the basic concept of what? Call by value. And whatever program we are going to see or whatever program we saw, all those programs are based on what? I mean we saw two programs on the function, that is sum and this area, and both the programs were on what? Call by value, because we were copying the value of actual parameter onto where? Formal parameter. So this is how I write a program using a function and without using what? Void. Reversing a, now the next program is reversing a digit. Now this program again we have written with the help of function. Now see here, int reverse, int number, yes, so no need to tell you this. What is this? This is function prototype. I will be using reverse function in the program. Now void main, I took two variables, they are what? P and Q. You are telling user to enter number. Now what you are basically doing is you are reversing a digit. So the logic we have already studied while calculating the, I mean while checking the number is palindrome or not. What you have to do is first you will divide your number by 10, and in the one variable you will be collecting a quotient and in the another variable you will be collecting a remainder, and you have to keep on dividing your number by 10 till you get the quotient as what? 0. That is the basic logic behind the program to find out what? The reverse of the number. So what I have to do is I told user to enter some number and that number is what? P. Q is equal to reverse P. Yes, what is this? This is function call. Now no need to tell you this. Reverse P, so it means what? I'm calling the function. As soon as I will get a function call, I will directly jump where? I will jump onto a function's body. Now see here, I took a different parameter, that is n. So this is what my formal parameter. My actual parameter was P. See, this was the actual parameter, this was P. And in the formal parameter, I have taken it as what? N. So what will happen? Your P ka value will get copied onto N. Now suppose if you are entering a number and that number is what? 21. So if you have to find out what? The reverse of the number. So this 21 will get copied onto N and your N ka value will become what? 21. Now what you have to do here? You are inside the function now, and in the function you have declared two more variable, digit and reverse underscore n. Reverse underscore n is initially a 0, and one more variable I took, that is what? Digit. What you will be doing, you have to divide your number by 10 till your n is not equal to 0. So initially your n is what now? 21, and you have to keep on dividing it by 10 till it becomes what? 0. So first attempt, what you will do in the first iteration, digit is equal to 21 divided by 10. So this is how it is going to be a 10, 21. So your remainder is going to be a 1 and your quotient is going to be a 2. So what you will do here, digit is equal to what digit you have got. Here you have to collect the remainder. So your digit is 1 and the reverse underscore n is again going to be what? Reverse underscore n into 10. So this is going to be a 0 because reverse underscore n is initially a 0. So this is going to be a 0 plus digit is 1. So reverse underscore n is 1 and quotient what I have got is 2. So here n is not equal to 0. So one more time you will be doing the same thing. Now what will happen here? Again you have to divide it by 10, I mean you will divide your 2 by 10, so it will 0, 0, and your remainder is 2. At this time I got my remainder as 2 and my quotient is 0. So in the second iteration, your digit is going to be a 2. Your reverse underscore n is going to be a 1 into 10, so that will be a 10, plus my digit is 2, so 10 plus 2 is 12, and n I got as what? 0. One more time I will go inside the loop and I will see my n has become 0 now. So I will come out of the loop and I will return reverse n. What I got reverse n? 12. See, I had entered 21, so 21 ka reverse is going to be a 12. I got 12, and this value are returning to whom? To the main function. Since I haven't made a use of what? Void keyword, I have to return the value by writing a return keyword to whom? To the main function. So this was a program to calculate what? To find out what? The reverse of the number, and I hope you have understood this program. Now in the next program, you are doing, you are calculating the factorial of number. Now to how to calculate the factorial of number, that we have already discussed with the program when we started the loops. But now in this program you are calculating a factorial, but with the help of some function. So how to do that with the help of the function, that we will see. Now see, again this is called as what? Function prototype. So int factorial, int a is a function prototype. Then void main. In the main function I declare two variables, that are they are what? B and fact. You are telling user to enter the value of b. B is the number of which the factorial is to be calculated, and fact is equal to factorial b. Factorial b, this is a function call. So after this your compiler will be jumping onto a function's body. Again here you haven't made a use of what? Void keyword, so you have to return the value to the main function. Now what will happen here? Here my formal parameter is x and my actual parameter is b. Now suppose if I enter 5, it means what? If I am calculating the factorial of 5, then this 5 will get copied onto x, and your x will also become what? 5. F is equal to 1 initially, and int I. What you will do here? I is equal to x, I is greater than equal to 1. Now what is x? X is 5. So this is going to be a I is equal to 5, and I is greater than equal to 1, and I minus minus. So it means what? What you are doing here, calculating a factorial of 5 is nothing but what? 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So I is equal to x, that is I is equal to 5. 5 is greater than, then you will check whether I is greater than 1. 5 is greater than 1, yes. Then what you will do? You will do f is equal to f into I. Your f is initially 1, so it is going to be a f is equal to 1 into I is what? 5, that is going to be a 5. Now I minus minus, here I will be 4. Again you will check whether 4 is greater than equal to 1. Yes, 4 is greater than equal to 1. One more time you will go inside the loop, and what you will write? F is equal to f into I. Now what is my f? My f I have got as 5, and my I has become what? 4. So 5 into 4 is 20. Now in the next iteration here I will be getting decremented by 1, so it will become what? 3. 3 is greater than equal to 1, yes, so it will be 20 into 3, 60. Then 60, and your I ka value will get decremented by 1, and it will become 2, so it is going to be a 120, and then 120 into, again what you will do? I minus minus, so it will become 120. So this is how we calculate the factorial of number. When your I will become a 0, your condition won't get satisfied and it will come out of the loop and it will return 120. So this is how we calculate the factorial of number using a function. So what basically we do inside a function, we call a sub function inside the main function. And what we do when we call a sub function inside the main function, we copy the value of actual parameter onto a formal parameter, and then your function gets proceeded. So I hope you have understood the examples on the function. So in this video basically we discussed the concept of the function, how actually the function gets called, then we saw some examples on the function. Thanks for watching this video. In the next video we will study a default arguments, function overloading and recursion.